Hello dear friends, this is Shotanik here. Today in this video, we will be looking at a joint endeavor of two study composers, Oleg Pervakov and Karen Sumbatian. As many of you perhaps know, Oleg Pervakov is the current and multiple times world champion in study composing. He is an absolute legend and is often hailed to be the greatest study composer of all times. Well, Karen Sumbatian too is a master composer, and he actually has quite a few exciting productions with Pervakov himself. The study we have selected today is obviously one of them. So this is the study. It is a study with just 6 pieces on board. A chess composition with 7 pieces or less is termed as a miniature. So this is a miniature. But as we will see, much can be achieved even with such limited material on board. Okay, now if you haven't thought about this study yet, feel free to pause the video and give it a good think. I will just give you a few more seconds before moving on to the solution. So pause your video, it is right to move and win in this position. Well, I hope you gave it a go. Now the first move here is self-suggestive. Black's pawn on the a file has gone too far up the board. That pawn on a2 is just a move away from queening. So this pawn needs to be put under lock and key immediately, and that is why White needs to play the move queen to a1 here. There are no other choices. You might want to consider the move queen h5 check here, but this does not lead to a win. So for example, after king to c4, queen into g4 check, king to b3, the black king gets close enough to the a pawn, and this gives black enough counterplay to hold. In fact, it doesn't matter if white somehow captures this rook on b8, because even then black will be able to hold with this a pawn only a move away from queening, and this white king, of course, too far away to be of any aid. So for example, if white goes queen g3 check here, then after king to b2, queen into b8 check, white has captured the rook on b8, but still this is a standard draw. The point is, now after black plays the move king to a1, white really doesn't have the time to take his king to the other side of the board, because if he does that, then this would just be a stalemate, a draw. So that's the idea. In this position, white is compelled to play the move queen to a1 and block this a2 pawn, stopping it from creating any counterplay. Okay, so queen a1 has been played and that pawn on a2 is on prise at the moment. So how should black continue? Should black play the move rook to a8 here, supporting this pawn on a2? Well, that does not seem to be a good idea, because in this case, white simply can go queen h1 check, and after the king moves, white picks up the rook on a8, at the same time keeping an eye on this a2 pawn. This is clearly winning for white. So that is the reason after queen to a1, rook a8 is not really possible. So what should black do here? Already it seems that black is lost. The pawn on a2 is on prise and he can't really play rook to a8. So what does he do? Well, he still has one little trick up his sleeve. He can play the move g4 to g3 check, and this is a clever move, a tricky move. I will let you figure out why. Just pause your video and try to think, what should white play now? The white king is under check. Where should that white king move? Well, the point is, the white king can't really capture the pawn on g3, because if white goes king into g3 here, then black gets in rook b3 check, and after king to f2, rook to a3, black has solidified his position. White can now neither capture this pawn on a2 nor make any kind of progress. So this is a draw. That is the reason why after black plays the move g4 to g3 check, white has to take care and be careful and not capture on g3. So what should white play? Is king to g2 possible? Well, this is also not a very good move because this simply allows black to go rook to a8, and after this black is completely okay. The point is, after king to g2, white can't really play queen h1 anymore because this diagonal, h1 a8 diagonal, is blocked by this king on g2. So there is no skewer anymore. Therefore, the only move after g3 check is king to h3. The only move that keeps white in the game and gives him the chance to still win. Okay, now black has to go rook a8 over here, supporting the pawn on a2. But this simply allows queen h1 check. And after g2 check, queen into g2, king to c4, white captures the rook on a8. Black goes king to b3. The black king gets close to the pawn, but this still isn't close enough because white simply has queen to h8 here, keeping an eye on this very important b2 square. You have to take care. You can't play queen h1 over here because then that simply allows king to b2, and now black is in the game. This is okay for black. Black is drawing. So queen h8 is forced. You have to keep an eye on this very important b2 square. And now after king to c2, white can simply go queen a1, still giving an eye on this b2 square. And now this is the end of the study. White wins here. He will simply take his king to the other side of the board, win this pawn on a2, and then win the game. So that's the whole idea of the study. What we have just seen here is the four corners theme. The queen sort of dances across the expanse of the whole board, visiting all the four corners. So let's go back and see what has just happened. So this was the initial position. White played the move queen to a1 here first, visiting the square, visiting one of the corners a1 and stopping that pawn from promoting. And after a few moves, after black came up with this trick, g3 check, and after king h3, rook to a8, the white queen visited another corner, queen h1 check. And now after g2 check, queen into g2, king to c4, the white queen went to another corner, queen into a8 check. And after king to b3, the white queen returns to its initial square, h8. And then again the square a1. And this ends the study. So yes, I think this is really a brilliant miniature by Parvakov and Sumbatian. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the study. We will be back tomorrow with something new. Till then, goodbye and take care.